What's up, y'all? Derek Johnson here, also known as Rattletrap 1776, and also known for my company, 1776 Nation. So I know right now is a confusing time for some people, and then I hear all the chatter out there, like I don't know who to believe, I don't know who to trust, I don't know who to listen to, yada, 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 all that stuff. That's hogwash. You can, all right, because President Trump has a ball cap that came out April 2023. Do your math. All right, this ball cap on the side says 45-47. He didn't live 78 years to forget the difference in a dash, a comma, and a little and symbol. All right, the dash means continuous. It means through. It means 45, 46, and 47. Now, a lot of you, you didn't pay attention in history. And then a lot of you get it honest in another way. You didn't have family members who served in the military and or were connoisseurs of military laws and things that were going on, especially special operations. But right now we have too many Indians and we only need a few chiefs and maybe one bull, all right, because that dash represents a special operation, clandestine operations, unconventional warfare, irregular warfare, which that's a massive, massive picture, all right? And there's a few, very, very, very few. I'm the only one who can break it down in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on how much detail I go into. But we just have too many Indians right now, all right? And that dash means everything. If there's anyone out there right now spreading that the military has been weaponized against the people by Joe Biden, first off, Joe Biden is not real. He's not even president. Laws and orders prove that. Specific laws and orders. There are specific laws and orders in place right now that make President Trump a wartime commander. There are unique laws that are prescribed on paper and a unique setup that makes him leave a president and suspend the Constitution and go to a wartime president, which is a military occupation, which is martial law, but it's a military occupation. And that can entail a lot of things, all right? And there's so many visuals all around from November the 8th, 2016 to present day that the number is astounding and it can't fit in a 10-minute video. You have to go look at all of my videos on Rumble or go to Facebook, and they're all free. This is just me serving beyond my service. I'm an Army veteran, all right? But military laws are separate from federal, all right? And that happened way back in our foundation. The Army, my branch, was established June 14th, 1775, and 16 days later, the very first war articles, which would be military law, came June 30th, 1775, which was how long before July the 4th, 1776? And then our first Constitution was the Articles of Confederation, November the 15th, 1777. And then our Constitution, as we know it now, was September the 17th, 1787. Do your math on military law before the Constitution. It was long before. It was long before the Declaration as well. So you got to know that military laws are separate. And then the Supreme Court of 2016 clarified that in the Military Justice Act of 2016, which was a more liberal Supreme Court than what there is now. So why would they do that? Now, that's just a few little nuggets. You got to see, once again, all my videos and how they all tie together. And there's so many things that are in votes right now. But just for a few little nuggets, Title 50, Section 1550 was not put in the War Powers Act until Donald John Trump and the Congress did that December the 20th, 2019. That one order is your foundational order of military use and support of partner forces. All right. And it says in there, in the first 180 days and every 180 days thereafter of that date, the president is to report to Congress the use of military. All right. Well, he did in the first 180 days. He federalized 1 million reserve components active duty with Executive Order 13912. All right. And then Executive Order 13919, April the 30th, 2020, just shortly after, but still in that first 180 days, he gave the Secretary of Defense equal authority to federalize the National Guard active duty. All right. In the bottom of that Title 50, there's an executive document. So if you think Joe Biden's real, which he's not even real, first off, and he's not even president by laws and orders, but if you think he is, then hey, I'll sit in a neutral seat for you and show you how he isn't. Again, in the executive documents, there's a memorandum there by him to the Secretary of Defense. It says, I hereby delegate the authority and the functions vested in 1550, which is President Trump, to the Secretary of Defense. The Secretary of Defense is appointed by the President. He's never over the President, but President Trump equalized him with the Executive Order 13919, which those two orders have not been revised or revoked. It means they're active. They're still in play. And those powers don't transfer. As prescribed, they don't transfer. That makes a wartime president. Other presidents have abused that. All the way back to Carter, Bush, all of them, they've abused those powers. So that's why you got to know how the law reads on paper, but especially military and how the military operates and functions. All right, but that executive document says, I hereby delegate the authority and function. So the Secretary of Defense is appointed by the President. So if this is Joe saying, I don't want this anymore, I don't want to be Commander-in-Chief, I don't want to be President, I don't want this role, duty, obligation, I give it to you, and the Secretary of Defense has it, but President Trump equalized him way back here, then who's the Secretary of Defense listening to? It's all a World War II history repeat. All right, and then to tie it all in, just a little few nuggets. January the 20th, 2021. One, if Biden was real, he didn't get a flight into D.C., a traditional flight on Air Force One, all right, by the Air Force as a president. All presidents done that before. No National Guard saluted the motorcade as he rode by. We always salute Commander-in-Chief and also a moving flag. There was not a commissioned officer present at the cannon salutes. Army Regulations 600-25, there's supposed to be an officer present at all cannon salutes. That's 2-3. Also, Amazing Grace was played that day. Amazing Grace is also in our Army Regulations for funeral services. I reckon so, because there were 3 cannons. The only cannons shown all day long for Joe Biden were 3 cannons at Arlington National Cemetery. A 21-gun salute, by definition, is 4 cannons, 21 rounds fired. All right. The only cannons shown all day long were 3 cannons at Arlington. You go to Arlington National Cemetery.mil. The 3 volley salute, seen or heard at Arlington, rifle or cannon, is not to be confused with the 21-gun salute. The 3 volley salute is a funeral honors. So there's that. Then you have Executive Order 13913, which was immediately after President Trump federalized 1 million reserve components to active duty. All right, and then also before the 13919 that gave the Secretary of Defense equal authority, he amended Executive Order 12333 by Ronald Reagan, which talks about assassinations. It brings all the 3-letter agencies in. It also brings in federal tax returns that they can't ask of the president, and also physical surveillance that you can't do. All the things that you've seen, like the quote-unquote Ukraine phone call impeachment, all this other stuff, yeah, all that stuff, it's all in that Executive Order 12333. And President Trump filed a new court case March the 19th, 2024, which talks about military law, assassinations, and it also poses the question, can a president order the military to commit murder? And it specifically talks about SEAL Team 6. Well, the last time SEAL Team 6 was involved in anything was Obama and also bin Laden. All right. And then also to prove that the military has not been weaponized. You saw all the people in North Carolina, and that's the unfortunate thing. People cannot separate tragedy and also, military operations, special operations. But it says FEMA was told to stand down by the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense is Title 10, all right, and that's the president. Title 50 is the Secretary of Defense. Title 32 is the National Guard. If that was just a normal disaster, storm, the governors will be operating with Title 32, not Title 10. And that Title 10 ties in back over here to President Trump. He's the only one who's federalized National Guard active duty recently. And then you look in the Special Operations Command publication, Unconventional Warfare, and you'll see the assassination line in there, and you also see the sabotage and terror by the government, the display weakness of government. It all ties into special operations, ladies and gentlemen. So go find all my pages.